Just ahead on One Detroit. You want good roads? Governor Gretchen Whitmer says it's time to pay for them. The budget debate coming up. Plus, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan's State of the City address and a big announcement for the city's west side.
And if there is one thing that can derail the speed of Detroit's recovery, it's the cost of construction.
You'll hear how the planned $30 million skilled trade center could grow the city's workforce and how it connects to the work Stephen Henderson is doing in the surrounding neighborhood at the house he grew up in. I'm Christy McDonald. One Detroit is coming up.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929. How does diversity bring energy to us all? At DTE Energy, we believe that it's the contributions of all that build great communities. As a company, we grow stronger by welcoming the unique perspectives of everyone. As community members, we support our state's broad culture and heritage. From working closely with women and minority-owned suppliers to embracing our local cultures, DTE Energy is powering diversity. The DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit Public Television.
I have a question. Who wants to go first? To win? Who wants to grow our business? Who wants to make more money? Who wants more job opportunities? If you want Michigan to compete and become a top 10 state, raise your hand. Together, we've turned Michigan around and started moving forward. Now help us build a stronger Michigan than ever. Raise your hand at strongermichigan.com.
Support also provided by the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, Detroit Journalism Engagement Fund, and the Bill and Shirlee Fox Fund for Leadership and Public Affairs Programming at Detroit Public TV.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us for One Detroit. I'm Christy McDonald. So it's time to fix the roads, but at what cost? Everyone across the state is debating Governor Whitmer's proposed gas tax. Plus, Mayor Mike Duggan lays out where Detroit is headed in his State of the City address this week. And we'll have a closer look tonight at a major announcement for a new skilled trades training center to be built on the city's west side. You'll see why it connects with a very personal project that Stephen Henderson is working on. That's just ahead on the show for you. But we are starting with just how much we all really want to fix the damn roads. Are you willing to pay for it? Governor Gretchen Whitmer outlined a 45-cent a gallon gas tax to raise $2 billion for roads in her first budget. So, let the debate begin with Nolan Finley of the Detroit News and Stephen Henderson of American Black Journal. Hey, guys. So, What do you think of that gas tax? That's what everybody, you go to the grocery store. I was sitting at the hair salon this week. Everyone is talking about the gas tax.
Well, it's all anybody's talking about it. My email's filled up time and time again.
Are people yelling at you or what?
We get calls on the radio show all morning. There clearly, as has always been the case in this state, no sentiment for raising the gas tax. This is going to be a very, very tough sell. I don't know what you've experienced on your show, but the callers seem to believe there's money they can find somewhere else. Yeah. They want the roads fixed, but they do not want to hire gas.
Yeah, I think
or maybe is it just that the 45 cent is the top going in asking, and that there's going to be some kind of wiggle room and compromise coming down there?
I don't know, because that number, I mean, you multiply that number, you get about $45 million per cent, I guess, on gas tax. If you add that up, you get to this $2 billion number
it's
that we need.
It's $2.5 billion minus $600 million that they're going to shift goes to the schools.
Right.
At least we can all agree on that $2.5 billion number now, right?
Well,
I'm
supposedly.
not sure.
I mean, again, that's part of the problem, is that people believe that we can do it with less, that you can find money that's being wasted elsewhere.
Oh, please, but there's been report after report
but
out.
People don't believe, and part of that is about, just believing in government in general, which, one side of the aisle has done a very good job of convincing people that they shouldn't trust government and that government doesn't spend their money well. My issue with the gas tax, and I think this is a fine proposal. It's one of the ways you could do this. There's not a lot of choice, by the way. I mean, you can get this money in a couple of ways and not others. But my problem with the gas tax, of course, is that it's regressive, right? But there aren't a lot of progressive options to reach for in Michigan, in Michigan's structure. And so her hands were tied a little bit unless she wanted to embark on like a serious reform that would put some other things within reach.
But there are some things that make this palatable. One, I mean, she did propose fattening the earned income tax credit,
right,
which I
to
think is
try
a
to
good
offset
idea
that.
because it encourages
It does.
work, and we need more people to rejoin the workforce. She also, I mean, they also could tie Barrett to auto insurance reform, which would more than cover the costs.
Right.
If we could bring Michigan down anywhere close to the national average in auto insurance premiums, you could more than cover the cost of the added gas tax, but people are still going to look at the pump and see $3 when in Ohio it's $2.30 and $2.40. That 45 cents is a starting point. I predict when this is all over, it's going to be somewhere in the 18, 19, 20 cent range, but they're going to grab the sales tax money that is applied to the cost of a gallon of gasoline and put that on roads too. Now, that creates other funding problems, but I think that's easier to fix than trying to get to a 45 cent
and when I
gas
talked to the
tax.
governor last week, and she said, once I put out the budget, it will be the dealing and the debating will begin in Lansing right now. And I think it's interesting that what kind of shells are going to start to move around in exchange for what she might be able to get about that. But you've talked about she wants to repeal the pension tax, that there's going to be a lot of tax.
On government employees,
Government
not in
employees.
general.
Right, but that there is going to be some change in there about how she wants to tax then smaller companies, the LLCs
That's not going to
as
happen.
well.
A Republican legislature is not going to let her raise taxes on small businesses to give government pensioners a tax break that won't apply to all other retirees. Their voters would slay them for that. I mean, if you're going to give pension tax relief or retiree tax relief, you've got to apply it across the board to all pensioners and also people who don't have pensions and are trying to get by on their 401ks and personal savings. That's fair tax policy.
What do you think?
I don't love the idea of the business tax or the pension tax thing that she's talking about. Those aren't great ideas. But I want to make a point again about this 45 cents per gallon. If you add that up, it's about $250 to $400 a year on your average consumer. I'm about to take my car in for repairs from last year's disastrous road freeze and thaw. I'm going to spend $750 to $1,000. That's after having spent $500 on brand new tires last fall as well. The way to sell this and to stop talking about these other things that are kinds of shell games and trying to put pressure on this constituency to support this thing. The way to sell it is this is a tax break, right? This is a reduction in cost to drive the roads. Almost everybody will pay less in this gas tax than they pay to fix their cars
That is
constantly.
absolutely true, and Snyder tried to sell
He
it
tried to
that
sell
way,
it that way.
and it went down 80% to 20%.
The sales tax
All
proposal.
people see is that pump price, and you're going to have to find a way to mitigate that 45 cents and bring it down, because people drive across the line here to Ohio, and they're going to say,
everybody has that option.
I was just going to say, not everybody has that
No,
option
I'm
in
not
terms
saying
of
to fill
geographic
up,
punishment for a
but
gas
as they
station who's on
travel-
the state border.
As they travel, they're going to see that we are much higher in terms of our gas
but
prices
they're going to travel.
than
They're
our
going to
neighbors.
see, Nolan, when they pass into the state line, that Ohio's roads are much smoother and much better.
For the same price per gallon of gasoline, and that's what they're going to see. And the questions I've heard
Ohio's
raised,
raising that money other ways.
the questions I've heard raised on my show is, why do we pay the same in taxes? Actually, we pay more in fuel taxes. Why aren't we getting the same results out of the money?
It's because
and that's a hard question to answer.
So actually, when you add up the total tax burden that goes to roads,
true.
we pay way less
Per
than
capita.
not just
But
Ohio, but
people
everybody else.
don't
and
get that
she's
because-
got to explain that. But it's also true that we've muddied the streams of funding, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
we have money going to roads from things that aren't user taxes, and then we have user taxes at the pump that are going to things that aren't the roads. I think she's trying to sort some of that out here. I mean, you can't fix it all in a fell swoop, but that would also help people understand that we do pay less, and that's part of the reason that the roads are bad.
See is the pump price,
get
and
it.
also this year they're renewing their license plates. And I don't know if you've renewed yours yet, but those registration fees, much higher.
Yeah.
They're really high, and that's also hitting. It's also regressive tax. It's also hitting low-income drivers really
I think it's going to
hard.
be interesting to see, yes, what tact they take in terms of selling this to people and getting people to understand where the money is going to go. Number two, if they're going to be able to get a budget by June.
No.
And I know that was one of the things. It's not codified, so it's not a mandatory thing, but
Should
it's
have
been what the precedent has been. So I'll be interested to see.
It's gone past a couple of years. Not far past. It's not
Not
gone
far
into
past.
Coming
October.
back
into
to
the
the
break.
days when it's the end of October or whenever the budget year starts.
Right.
I think she complicated that with the small business tax. She's picked an unnecessary fight when everybody should be focused on getting this gas tax through. She lost a lot of business support with that, and it was just pointless. Absolutely needless.
I don't know if I'd say it's needless. It's a needless political fight. I think there is substance behind what she's trying to do there that's important. More people have to bear more of the burden. Small businesses, I'm a small business owner. I know how little I pay in tax because the rate is not.
That's because you might be figuring the numbers, Steve.
The rate is not what people pay. Most small businesses get to write off all kinds of expenses and things.
But you
small
do
businesses
not
can
want-
do more to
Small
help
engines
offset.
are the engine of this
I
economy.
understand.
You don't want to overburden small businesses. The tax
We are
structure,
far from overburdening
the tax code
Yep.
that we have now is working to help these businesses grow. They're producing jobs. You don't want to double
raising
tax them.
income.
You don't want to
Okay.
tax them on both their total business revenue
agreed.
and then their personal revenues, which was what this
Trying not to do. We should
tax
not
would do.
Yeah, we
Okay,
should try
well-
not
It's a
to.
double tax.
All right, it's something we're going to be debating for a couple of months to come. All right, I did want to talk a little bit about Mayor Mike Duggan's State of the City address that he gave this week and focus a little bit on Detroit. I want to talk about that in a few minutes, but first off, I want to take a look at an announcement that was made this week. Specifically, the mayor mentioned a new skilled trades training center to be built on Detroit's west side. It's being built by the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters and Millwrights, and it will provide free training for up to 1,500 students a year. It's a $30 million project on 7 acres of city-owned land near Oakland Boulevard, and it happens to be just steps away from Stephen Henderson's old childhood home on Tuxedo. He's transformed the house into a literary center and meeting place for the neighborhood. It's called the Tuxedo Project. We first showed you Stephen's plans when he started out rehabbing the house, which opened up in the fall of 2017. And since the Tuxedo Project has been working to help other blighted homes in the neighborhood, it has been an anchor for positive momentum on that side of the city. And Stephen was part of the announcement, which is a big step towards training more Detroit workers for construction jobs that are open.
And we always talk about downtown and midtown, and we're starting now to talk about the communities. And we're talking about the Carpenters and the Millwrights expanding from other cities right here into the big city of Detroit, Michigan.
And if there is one thing that can derail the speed of Detroit's recovery, it's the cost of construction. Construction costs are soaring right now, and it is becoming a real problem for us. And there is a shortage, and the shortage is going to get worse. You start to think about the Chrysler Project, the Hudson's Project, the Monroe Project, the Gordie Howe Bridge, and we got some more we haven't even announced yet. And plus Ford in the train station. You're going to have a lot of folks need to go to work. We got enough work for the next 5 or 10 years. We need to be training Detroiters to do it. And this is a center that's going to be able to train up to 1,500 people.
Our new training center will be 120,000 square feet of state-of-the-art training space to train the next generation of union carpenters, millwrights, and floor layers. It'll be built on 7 acres of land here in the neighborhood with easy access off I-96 and Joy Road. Our training center will feature some of the most advanced tools and techniques in the construction industry. And because we want the center to be a hub for this neighborhood, it will also have space for community events, open to local families and local businesses.
This really is a significant announcement, Stephen. You had a chance to talk to people, too, about, just what this could possibly mean.
Yeah, it's huge for the neighborhood. I mean, it will change everything in some way. But people, of course, still have lots of questions, right? Someone makes a $30 million investment in your neighborhood. You want to know, what does that really mean for me?
Yes, go ahead and take a look.
Where did you move in?
I moved in 1972.
Okay, well, so that's right after I was born. Yeah, talk about what the neighborhood was like in the 1970s.
When I first moved over there, the neighborhood was fantastic. Every home was filled, every lot was clean, no vacancies, and each house on the block was full with people and kids.
Yeah, and there were so many families. That's what I remember. There were lots and lots of kids running up and down the streets all the time.
Throwing their schoolwork paper all in my yard and everything. But once they closed that school down, all that deceased and people started moving out like flies. Yeah. But I stuck around. I'm still there.
Jackie Henderson isn't a relative of mine, but she is the president of the Community Association over near the Tuxedo project. She remembers Tappan Middle School really well. She remembers when it closed a couple of decades ago and when they tore it down about 10 years ago. She's really excited about the prospect of the training center rising on that fallow site. I found out about this a while back, about the possibility of this, and said to myself instantly, my gosh, if this happens, everything in our neighborhood will change. Everything will be different.
Michigan Regional Carpenters Council, we're providing these opportunities especially for this community, because we're about to be your neighbors. So you guys are going to have unlimited access to a facility that's going to train the next generation.
How involved is the city in this?
Oh, they've been extremely involved. I mean, yeah, there's been, like I say, it's been 2 years, and there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues that you have to work out. Infrastructure issues, you know, what's underneath the ground. The apprenticeship fund is going to be paying to build this. The union has been paying for this process to make it so that we'll find out if we can build something there, right? So all the civil engineering and all that has already been done.
Mike Jackson worked with Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan to find a great location for this new training center. They settled our neighborhood for a couple of reasons. One is its proximity to the freeway. I-96, the Jeffries, runs right along the side of this property. We're also very close to the intersection of Livernois and Grand River. We still deal with a lot of blight around the Tuxedo project.
You know, we've been, filing petitions, to get them toward that. But other than that, the street is quiet and it's good. It's real good.
Greg Motley lives across the street from the Tuxedo project. On our block alone, there are 14 vacant homes, and most of them probably need to come down. We're hoping that's more of a priority now that the training center is on the way.
This is a fantastic project that you communicated and started, rolling with the wheels going, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy and ecstatic that we're getting ready to have something done in our neighborhood.
I have a feeling she hugged you right after that.
There's been a lot of hugs lately over there.
You know, I think it was really neat because this is the first time that we've actually on the show gone back inside and taken a look at inside the house.
Yeah.
Since it's done, and the fact that you're having meetings there and it's open to the community, and this is really a part of a larger process that you've been working on, and then for this project to come in, it's connecting, I think, a lot of the dots for you.
It is. It's giving a boost to the things that we're already trying to do and sometimes being frustrated by, right? Like I said, there's 14 abandoned houses on that block, just on that one block. You talk about that combined with the challenges that our neighbors face on a daily basis, the food insecurity, problems with water. It's a lot, and the Literary and Community Arts Center is a way to bring people together, to try to build organization, to try to fight those things, but we've needed opportunity and we've needed investment, and this training center is both of those things right at the end of our block. We couldn't have dreamed up a bigger or better kind of way to lift what we're trying to do.
And so investment in the neighborhood, that was one of the things that, or usually, actually most of what the State of the City address was that the mayor gave, and talking about making sure that those investment projects are coming in different areas of the city.
Well, he talked about tearing down the obstacles to opportunity, and certainly one obstacle to opportunity is getting people to training programs. And if you have a training program and it's downtown or it's out somewhere people can't get to because there's transportation issues in the city, this brings a training center right into a neighborhood where people, if they had to, can walk to it. And I think this is a a major commitment and a really good progress in trying to figure out, okay, we got all these programs, why aren't people participating, and breaking down the obstacles to participation.
We've already started to think about a lot of that at the Tuxedo project, and one of the real barriers is, so in order to go to this training program, you have to have a high school diploma or a GED. Well, for a lot of our neighbors, that never happened in their lives. They're not going to be ready unless they do that. The other thing is that they have curriculums in some of the VOC-TEC schools to prepare people for the specific work at these carpenter facilities. They like people to have some of that as well. And so we're trying to figure out, how do you fill that gap, not just in our neighborhood, but in every neighborhood like that around the city. There are all kinds of people who just aren't prepared for this kind of opportunity, and there needs to be a citywide effort to figure out how we do that and how we do it in people's neighborhoods. Because as Nolan said, our neighbors can't get across the city to go do that kind of thing. They have to do it where they are.
And we focus a lot on the high paycheck jobs, the high tech jobs, and bringing in, these big companies and exciting new companies. We need a lot of entry-level jobs in the city to help people who haven't worked before get those skills they need to start moving up the economic ladder. And we talked about the earned income tax credit that the governor proposed. I'm big on those because they actually encourage people to seek training and to better their education. They provide incentives for that.
One aspect of that too is they talked a lot about as returning citizens, and we've concentrated that on as well, and the opportunity for the number of people who have come out of prison and say, what can I do next, and what are the things that I can do and that I'm prepared to be able to do and have access to be able to do as well.
That's right. And again, that gap. How many people leave prison or jail, which is another place that people stay for a long time here unnecessarily, and don't have a GED and don't have a high school diploma, right?
That's a crime that the state commits.
Right.
If you have a prisoner locked up for 3, 4, 5 years,
can't you get him a
and during that
diploma?
time, that prisoner doesn't earn a GED or some skill, I mean, the recidivism rate for prisoners who leave the prison system with skills, and there are some programs, a growing number of programs. Heidi Washington has put in a good number of training programs. Those who go through the programs and leave with skills, far less likely to go back to prison.
They don't always go back. And you talk about entry-level jobs. This is a 4-year program. You get paid while you're doing it. You get health insurance while you're doing it. And when you come out, the average carpenter is making $55 an hour. That's way more than entry level, I think.
And then the challenge is keeping them in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, right? Don't leave.
I talked to a minister the other day who was doing job training and redevelopment. He says, we've got to get a commitment from the people we train to stay here after they've hit, after they've hit it big.
And then you've got job opportunity, even building this facility.
That's right.
Building which is going to be
knocking
huge.
down the homes. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to really lift the fortunes of the people who live
there.
there.
And I think as we kind of go forward and follow some of the progress that you're doing in the neighborhood, I want to talk about blight, I think more specifically.
That's the place to do it.
the tough road it is to make sure you can knock down the houses that are in the place that are not occupied right now. All right, well that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for joining us on One Detroit. We will be back next Thursday. Until then, find us on social media, plus catch all of the stories that you might have missed at DetroitPBS.org. I'm Christy McDonald with Nolan Finley and Stephen Henderson. We'll see you next time.